It says that two Crossroads Correctional Center inmates were charged this week with first-degree murder after an incident that allegedly started with a sexual assault and ended with one suspect writing on the floor with his own blood. A probable cause statement alleges Robert M. Goodwin and Jeff Lane stabbed and killed their fellow inmate Larry Miller on June 9, 2014. Probable cause statement alleges Mr. Goodwin waited in Mr. Miller's cell and ambushed him. Keep in mind the guy in the orange is Mr. Miller, the guy that got his neck slit. The guy coming out the cell in the white is one of the Muslim cats. Swinging on him, keep in mind, because one of the other Muslim brothers was saying that the guy in the orange was sexually assaulting him.
Court records state that Miller's cellmate Jeffrey Nash concocted a story that Miller sexually assaulted him, knowing the one corrections officer patrolling that area would take him into an office in the back of the housing unit to make a report, leaving the A-wing unattended. That's when another inmate, Robert Goodwin, snuck into Miller's cell. You can see Goodwin jump out and attack Miller after he returned from breakfast. It was a full-on fist fight until another inmate, Jeff Lane, got involved. That's Lane walking on the first floor.
So this is retaliation, just so that y'all don't get lost here. Now, after seeing the incident from the bottom floor as the video shows, Mr. Lane joined, stabbing Mr. Miller with a homemade knife 8 to 10 inches long. That right there, my friends, is what we call in prison a bone crusher. Another inmate, Veranda Smith, attempted to help Mr. Miller and struggled with the pair for possession of the knife. When correctional officers arrived, they reported seeing Mr. Goodwin holding the weapon. Now, once detained, Mr. Lane, the individual that stabbed the guy, told correctional officers he saw Mr. Goodwin, one of his Muslim brothers, involved in the incident and got involved himself. Interviews with other inmates seem to indicate the attack was relation on Mr. Miller for forcing a fellow inmate to perform sexual acts on him.
Hello, welcome to Bamm Bamm Raw TV. I'm Bamm Bamm, aka the 411 Giant. Hit that like button, you need to subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you know when the next video coming out. It's another story about a man I met in the federal system, and this one's name was Talib. Talib was from Baltimore. I don't know the extent of what he was locked up for, even how long he had, because we children, that stuff you find out through other people. You don't ask people what they was in there. Everything people found out about my case, they found out from my newspaper clippings that my case went international. So I never asked him about his case. I just met him. We got cool because I seen him in USP Leavenworth. He was moving. He's from Baltimore. He was Muslim, and he passed me, said hi and bye. I passed him, said hi and bye. It was no camaraderie, but it was no disrespect. It was just you moving in this one direction, I'm moving in another direction, because he was, I guess, staying on his dean and everything. So a situation happened, though, where blood guys had got into it with the Muslim up in USP Florence. And as I mentioned before in my stories, that people and stuff happen on a compound. The police usually bring the elders or the people together and squash that thing so that they can open the compound back up and everybody can get back to normal. Then they would ship what they would consider either the agitators or the people who actually got into the confrontation, so that when they get back out there, because a person being in a confrontation, he like, man, I ain't trying to hear that shit. I get back out there, I'm going to get my man. So they have to separate both of the individuals and send them out somewhere. So they happened to send one of the Muslim guys who got in, that was in the altercation, went down there, but they sent another guy who was not in blood, that was not part of the altercation, but was an agitator in it. So when the blood got down there, trying to be somebody, instead of bringing it to the people and say, hey man, all that was squashed up in there. They shipped us, but all that was squashed. He bring a lie down to his blood homeboys, tell his blood homeboys a lot of stuff that it wasn't over and all this and that going on. And they hadn't got the paperwork. I guess he could have been the one supposed to have been delivering the paperwork, saying, the word they're saying it was over. But anyway, the dude, he lied. So when he lied, the Bloods made a move. They made a move on the Muslim guy in there in the TV room. They bring him a move. A couple of them bring Mahmoud. Now, when they bring Mahmoud, Islamic brothers naturally, they definitely mad and about their business about it, but now they fall right into their Ramadan. So when they fall into their Ramadan, it's like the blood guys, they was walking around like, okay, they ain't gonna do nothing. They don't want no smoke because they was like, hey man, let's, this is what that dude can't be here. This got to be this here. This what we can accept right now. This is what we can accept. Let's for this compound to continue. But because it was Ramadan, they wasn't putting the force down and everything. And Blue Bloods took them lightly. The people who was calling it for the blood took them lightly. And from what I knew and what other people were saying, I didn't know that much about Islam at that time, but the people saying, man, them dudes is not gonna let that go. It's Ramadan. They're not gonna do nothing on Ramadan. But that don't mean they didn't let it go. They was walking. Some of the blood guys who was under the people, they was walking around with their chests out and they felt like they had, boom, we hit this lick. And so eventually, I get the word so I can keep my people away from the situation. So they come and say, well, hey man, once Ramadan over, the word that I get, once Ramadan over, the move gonna be made. And that was what I got. I'm like, I can't get in that business one way or the other. I just need to keep my people out of the way because one of the brothers who told me was actually from my hometown. He rode with the Muslim. So it went on, they come down, then we go down to the movie. I make my homeboy stay, but I said, I'm going to see this movie. Name of the movie was Shame. I said, I know how to keep myself out of the way, so I made my homeboy stay back at the unit. I said, y'all, I'm going down here. But they like, no, man. I said, no, I'm going down here. You know what I'm saying? I need to see this movie. And the movie was Shame. Old movie that I used to always have like. And so we go down there, and when we go down there, that's my first time actually seeing Talib in a aggressive movement state because him, Barbers, and some of the rest of them, when they come in that movie theater, they was going everywhere. They was going everywhere with them. Every man was going toward the Bloods. They was going toward the Bloods, and unfortunately, I was kind of busy. A lot of the Bloods they got so comfortable and they didn't know how to, they wasn't even prepared for it. So when the guys started coming at them, they was running trying to get to a position or get to a place where they can fight. They didn't seem to be comfortable with fighting with their hands. So they was, I can understand they growing up shooting from 12 years old. But they was running, they were ripping and running out. They were running, jumping over people, and I'm looking down to watch the movie too. And they're jumping over people, and they're jumping over old men with canes in their hand. They're running past objects to grab, and I was befuddled by that because I was like, how y'all keep passing these weapons? How do y'all not know these are weapons? But I could only be, I was just looking, and so I seen Talib, Barbers, and everybody was getting their man. Every time they was getting them, every time they stab them, they holler, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar. They was stabbing them. And they took control of that situation. And the sad part about it, when it was all over, some of the dudes who was in power with the blood realized that, man, we could have stopped this. We could have stopped it. Now they got y'all all down there in the auditorium, and they got y'all, and they telling y'all to squash it after this thing happened. And you're going to either squash it or they're going to ship it. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, so when I seen Talib action at that time, him and Barbers, I seen the action, they end up going to Supermax Marion before me, actually. They went to Supermax Marion before me. So when I got there and I got on the range with them, they had told their people from Baltimore, Bonap and all them, they was telling them about me that, hey man, that little dude there, man, he's solid dude, man. He take care of his business, solid dude, he man. Don't get in nobody else's business. Know how to keep his mouth closed, he's this and that, And so me and him, we started getting cool, talking to each other because I actually seen his work. You know what I'm saying? They were calling all kind of people trying to say what you seen, but it was, but they ended up getting me discipline because I think a blood dude testified against him. But they gave me the discipline for it and everything. He went down to Supermax with me, Max Marion. So we get down there. He's a good dude. He's jokesy, good dude, jokesy, like to have fun. I never got to see that side of him. So we worked out together sometime. We put some stuff together. I met some more good Baltimore men, Drew and Red Dog, Big Mike, you know what I'm saying, Mom. And we got real tight down there. He's a dude that I like. I like that he's serious about it. He's not perfect, but he's serious about Islam. And I done met quite a few like that. But, me and him became cool, and I got a picture of him and everything. And I respect, I don't know another whole lot that he did on the street. But what he did for his cause, because from what I understood, some of the guys, they wasn't just chose. They made it a decision that they wanted to be part of that because they felt like it had slighted Islam in the way that was done. So, I got to respect a man who went to work for his cause. If I believe in something, I think it's been disrespectful or my people been harmed, I think I would do it too. Hopefully I can get to it before it happens. But if it do happen, that kind of take all the words off the table. You know what I'm saying? Situation where you're out of words. But Talib is, I pray that he's at home right now, going on. But he's a solid dude, and I had these pictures, and I want to make a little honorable mention on some of these guys that I got these pictures of that may not be as well known. But much respect to Talib out of Baltimore. Love you. Hit that like button, subscribe, hit that bell icon so you know when my next video coming out. We finna get ready to change the channel on this here. We finna start doing something different when I wrap up these things.